Welcome to a new episode of Lost in Minecraft. In this video we shall be looking at farming, both crops and animals. Prior to recording I've made a few essentials for this. I've made us a bucket, some fences, some gates, and an additional crafting table, just in case. So I've selected this area to make a crop farm down near the entrance to the mine. As you can see, you just need to clear out a nice flat area. There's a couple of game mechanics involved with setting up a crop farm. The main one is water distance. If you put down a bucket of water into a hole, it will moisturise the soil within 4 blocks up, down, left and right of that space. So effectively you'll hydrate a 9x9 grid. As you can see, I've just started setting up the area, counting it out. I'm going to try to make sure we get the numbers right. So I did this section, needs a little bit more bulking out. Just take it a little bit further. I want to try to optimise the amount of space that we have. There are various different farms you can set up. There's some nice automated ones, some quick growing ones, but they involve sort of materials that we do not have access to just yet. We will be making some of these in the future. So this is just going to be a basic, traditional agricultural farmland. So we'll treat the earth, water it, plant some seeds and grow some crops. Counting out my grid, making sure I've got sufficiently large area. Always try to make sure that there's at least an extra square or two around where the farm is set up. This just means that if you set it up with fences or walls around it, then no mobs can just climb over a neighbouring block and work their way in. So this is where the hoe comes in useful. The hoe will convert dirt blocks into farm blocks. As you can see, it has a slightly different look to it. Now we've counted 4 up, so our 5th block will make the centre of our square. And we count up again. Yes, I made a slight miscalculation when doing this. It doesn't hurt at the end of the day. It just means that the water will not hydrate those squares and they will return eventually to dirt blocks. So onto the hydration, so pick up our trusty bucket, go down to a water source and just scoop it up. Bring it back up to our farm and plonk it in the middle. I missed, so you can just quickly pick it up and try again. As you can see, some of the treated areas were returning back to dirt blocks. Yeah, we've got plenty of time left in our day. You can see the treated earth slowly starting to change colour in some of the blocks. That means it is hydrated. So I just need to fill out our working area. If you run or jump on tilled earth, it will revert it back to dirt again. So just be careful when walking around and through your plots of land, your little allotments. Otherwise you'll risk converting it back to dirt. but also means it's a good way of returning an accidentally treated patch of ground to dirt blocks. There you go, filling out the wrong area again. I will eventually spot this. But before I do a bit of digging to bulk it out unnecessarily. Mistakes happen in this game. It doesn't hurt. There's our pilgrim tower still lurking in the distance. See, the ground that is not being treated by the water is still fighting me and turning back. Now we can get our seeds. You can collect the seeds from breaking grass when it's growing. I'll put a little block on top of the water just so that I don't fall into the water pool all the time when farming. And it's a nice little place just to pop a torch. Keep it lit, keep it safe. Especially now as the sun is just coming down to the end, so it'll start to get dangerous. So on the next day, out we come with our seeds, and you just place them. As you can see, our little chicken friend was very happy. Various animals react to different types of food. Chickens react to seeds. You can give seeds to chickens to then breed them. We'll get onto that in a little while. So now we're just having a little bit of a clear out. Craft ourselves some carpet tiles. A strange addition you might think, but they will come in very useful shortly. Got some more seeds out of our chest. Here comes our friendly little chicken again. And I've realised where my mistake was. These plants will grow in several stages. At the moment you just have these little seedlings. And I believe there are 3 extra steps before it's fully grown. You can harvest from the penultimate step, but you will not reap as much reward if you do. It's good for an emergency though. Right, so back up to the top. By one of our entrances we're going to set this up as a bit of an animal farm to begin with. So, using some fences, I'm going to mark out a little paddock. You may notice the area around it has been bulked out a little bit with dirt, just to make it a bit more spacious. And like in the spawn base, we can use these fences as a bit of an extra safety net when stepping out, as you do not always know what is lurking just on the other side of the doors and walls. As an additional note for the crop farming, there are various different crops in this game. These include carrots, potatoes, beetroots, wheat. Each of them have their own uses. I find potatoes and wheat to be some of the most useful. Carrots can be quite good. And they can be used for animal farming. You can give different foods to different animals to help them breed and to help them grow. It'll come in very useful later on. But for now we'll finish off our little paddock. I made a little gate. And whilst it is a little bit off-centre based on the usual setup that I do, it is fairly square on to the area just outside there, so it works. Now this is where the carpet tiles come in useful. You can place carpet tiles on top of fences and walls to easily get over them. Other mobs cannot do this. So monsters, animals, they can't do this. You can see some of our crops are starting to grow onto the second stage of development. Just take ourselves back up to our base. And as you can see, we have a cow lurking just outside our fence. Let's see if we can coax him in. We don't have any wheat to let him come in on his own will, but when in doubt, just push him through the gate. Or in this case, he seemed to quite fancy walking in himself. So now we have our first animal. If animals aren't name tagged or fed, there is a chance that they can despawn. I think it's just a risk we will take at the moment. So now with our farms set up, I'm just going to nip around our perimeter wall, tidy it up a bit, add a few little knickknacks, just make it look a little bit neater and tidier, a little bit less straight up blocky. As I said before, this is one of the things I always like about these projects. They're always a work in progress. Outside of tiny little buildings and things, I don't think I've ever had a single project where I've said, right, this is 100% done and finished, I'm not going to add anything, or I'm not going to change anything. Gravity gets you down. Quickly nip over the carpet tile and we're back in. No, don't go in the base. Got to be careful for wandering cattle. I just like adding these little stair blocks about. Just smooths out the appearance a little bit. Replace a couple of our torches. I do prefer them being on the corners like that. I do keep thinking about replacing our dirt pillar with a torch on the top, but not just yet. It's our home base marker for the time being. Let's put a couple of slabs carefully across the doorways. Again, just makes it look a little bit neater and tidier. And a block either side as well. There we go. Light up our paddock. Oh, got another cow out there. The next morning, quick adventuring, we found ourselves a spider, and he finally dropped us some string. I've been waiting for this for a little while. Yep, crops still growing. Nothing seems to be invading them. Always nice. But let's go make use of this string. Quick perimeter check. And now we have got some leather that we got from killing cows earlier on in our adventures. Cook some meat up. Now our string plus our leather allows us to build our very first bundle. As you can see there, bundles allow you to complete a stack of items. So So if you have an item that's stackable, you can put loads of them in there. So a bed is not a stackable item, it just fills up the whole bundle in one go. All these other items which are stackable, such as the crafting table, wood, coal, etc., you can just plonk them all in there until you reach 64 items in total. It is a fantastic way of gearing up for adventures, saving inventory slots and the like. There are some items which you can only stack up to 16. They take extra slots when placed into a bundle like that. But that is it for another episode. Thank you for joining me. Please like, subscribe, comment. Don't forget to vote in our poll. And I shall see you next time. Bye now.